Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me again. And folks, for the first time publicly, President Biden has responded to the Republicans trying to impeach him. As you folks know, on Tuesday, Republicans, specifically Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, announced that they are launching an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. They say that he took bribes as vice president and that he's corrupt and all this other garbage, of which they have no evidence for. And since then, the White House has kept relatively silent on the topic of the Republicans trying to impeach President Biden. They sent out a fundraising email talking about the Republicans trying to do this in an attempt to raise some money, which I'm sure they did. This is certainly riling up the Democratic base. The White House also sent letters to major media organizations asking them to cover the Republicans' insanity surrounding impeachment. But, President Biden himself hasn't said anything about it publicly until now. Last night, President Biden was at a fundraiser in Virginia, and near the end of his speech, he talked about the impeachment inquiry that Republicans are launching. And unfortunately, we don't have a video of the event because at these fundraisers, phones and recordings aren't really allowed. However, we do have a transcript of what Biden said about the impeachment inquiry. And let me tell you, President Biden's response to the news is perfect. Like, it's exactly how a president should be responding to this insanity. So let's take a look at it here, and I think you'll agree that it's pretty great. So this is President Biden's full remarks on the Republicans' baseless and sham impeachment, and it actually came from somebody who's the director of rapid response for President Biden, so it's a reliable transcript. It's not something that was made up. And here is the full statement. President Biden started off by saying, "I want to say a word about impeachment. It was pointed out to me today that Marjorie Taylor Greene, the first day she was elected, said first thing I want to do is impeach Biden." And that's true. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been introducing articles of impeachment against President Biden almost every single day that she's been elected in Congress. Now, remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene represents some cities that are in her district that have high poverty rates. People there are actually struggling. But instead of actually trying to pass policy to help those people, no. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been trying to impeach Biden for no reason, right? It shows you how great of a representative she is, right? But anyway, aside from that, President Biden went on to say, "I don't know quite why, but they just knew they wanted to impeach me. And now the best I can tell, they want to impeach me because they want to shut down the government." No, you think I'm kidding? Watch. And that's probably true. The government is set to shut down at the end of September unless they can come to a funding agreement for it. But Republicans are using this to make massive cuts to social programs to basically screw over poor people, as they frequently try to do almost every day. But it really wouldn't surprise me if they're trying to use impeachment to shut down the government. But anyway, President Biden continued on, and this is probably the best quote of this statement. He said, "So look, I've got a job to do. Everybody always asks me about impeachment. I get up every day, not a joke, not focused on impeachment. I've got a job to do. I've got to deal with the issues that affect the American people every single solitary day." Now, how amazing of a response to that is that? I mean, the maturity there is so refreshing from Donald Trump. If this was happening to Trump, he'd be screaming in all caps on Twitter all day, right? But President Biden's saying, hey, look, the Republicans are insane. Let's not focus on impeachment. Let's not focus on their craziness. Let's just let them make fools out of themselves, which is working, right? They are absolutely making themselves look like fools. But also, President Biden is saying here, like, hey, I don't really care what the Republicans are doing, what lie they came up with today, what situation they've put themselves in. That doesn't really affect me. What affects me and what I care about is the American people and serving them. And he does that, right? And I just think him kind of addressing it this way is so powerful. So, at the end of the day, President Biden will continue to work for the American people. He'll continue to serve the American people, and the Republicans will continue to play games. Biden's trying to attack the real issues and address them, but the Republicans are not interested in actually legislating. They're interested in playing games and see who can say the most ridiculous thing on a given day. But anyway, to wrap up the statement, President Biden said, "I met again today in the cabinet room focusing on how we end cancer as we know it as a country. I'm focused on these things. We have to remind the American people there's nothing beyond our capacity. We can do everything we set our mind to do if we do it together. Not a joke. Look, I'm focused on things the American people want us to focus on. Growing the economy, making more good jobs available, and lowering prescription drug prices. Encouraging MAGA Republicans to join me, which is going to take a hell of a lot of difference." And again, that just kind of reinforces what Biden said earlier, right? Like, he is having meetings in the White House to address cancer as part of his Cancer Moonshot program, which is looking to reduce cancer deaths by 50% within the next couple of decades, right? A massive goal, something that would really help the American people. He's really working on these issues, and the Republicans are playing games. It's so frustrating because if we had competent members of our government, people who actually wanted to work with President Biden and get stuff done and make sure that we're addressing these issues, we could do so much more than we're doing right now. We could do so much more. But no, we have, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene running the Republican Party. And I want everybody to remember the first 2 years of Biden's presidency, right? When he had the House and the Senate and the presidency, we got so much done, so much historic, amazing policy that even the Republicans voted for the majority of the time. Bipartisan policy, working with people across the aisle who actually wanted to get stuff done. And now the minute Republicans take, the House, they get a little bit of power, everything's gone, right? There's no progress being made aside from what President Biden can do in his capacity as president. No. We have lunatics doing crap like this, pushing garbage impeachment inquiries. And again, this is also something that people should really, really remember for 2024, right? We have Biden, who is a mature leader. He really works for the American people. And regardless of whether you disagree with him or not, I think that the American people are on the side of Biden here, right? There's just no evidence to impeach Biden, right? There's just not. Multiple Republican representatives, even Republican Senator Mitt Romney, have come out and said, yeah, there's just no evidence currently. There's no reason to proceed with this. And I think the American people see that as well. And they're like, yeah, why aren't you guys helping Biden reduce cancer deaths? Why aren't you guys focusing on the economy? Why aren't you helping Biden lower prescription drug prices? No. Republicans are not. And I think the American people are looking at them like, what are you guys doing? What did we elect you to do? Did we elect you to play games? Or did we elect you to actually do stuff for us? And, as I said on TikTok today, if you follow me there, I think we are starting to see a major shift in the past day or so since Republicans announced it. I think more Republican voters are starting to look at their own representatives like, what are you guys doing? You guys are making us look like fools, and you're not actually doing anything that helps anybody. It's just so frustrating because government and elected officials can be effective. They can. We saw that in the first 2 years of President Biden's term. But, since Republicans take power, everything's gone to crap. We're having ridiculous debates like this in valuable time. So anyway, folks, I just thought President Biden's response there was so amazing, so mature, and it's how a leader should respond to these things. And I admire him a lot for taking the high road, not just calling them lunatics like I might and other people might and you folks might, but, he was a little bit more composed than a lot of us, I think. So anyway, folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps when you folks do that. I really appreciate everybody that does. And again, I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to speak with you soon.